and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be making Tiana's Place from Princess and the Frog. Tiana is probably my most favorite Disney princess of all time. Yeah, she's my favorite. She's always been my favorite since I was a little girl. I'm still a girl, but like when I was younger, but but she was my favorite. Even when I went on like a Disney cruise, I was so excited to see her. I was like, where's Tiana? So I was super happy to go find her. And actually, I remember when I went to go meet her, I had like an iPad, like my iPad with me. And that's what I used to like take pictures on. And I had like my little sign book like with it. And then she like looked at the iPad because obviously she's in character. She's like, what is this book? Like, this is so neat. And I was like, oh, it's an iPad. And I was so confused at the time because I was like, shouldn't she know this is an iPad? And it never clicked in with me, like my 10-year-old butt never clicked in knowing that she was being in character. And obviously they don't have iPads from her timeline. So of course she's gonna be like, what is this book? You know, so I was so confused. I was so shook. I was like, it's an iPad. And she was like, is that some sort of book? That's so cool. I'm like, no, you're dumb. That's an iPad. I'm sorry, Tiana, I love you. But obviously now I know that she was in character and she was great at it, so props to her. Today I kind of like woke up and I was like, what am I gonna build today? And you know, it just popped in my head. I was like, I want to do Tiana's restaurant. So we definitely have it. That sign on the top in the front of the building was a little bit hard to do. I couldn't have it like on the actual trim of that balcony. It just wouldn't let me. So it's a little bit above. It does glow green at nighttime. So you'll see that in the screenshots and live shots at the end of the video. So make sure to stay tuned for that, like I do with all my builds. But yeah, it was really fun to build. I have never done something like this, and it didn't take me that long compared to my other ones. You're like, Jamie, you literally just had like 3 to 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, yeah, but that's a small build for me. So that's a small build. So I mean, compared to all my other ones, this is definitely a lot shorter, but I put in as much detail as I can, and I am super happy with the way it turned out. I love the place, and on the inside, it's nice. It's definitely a little crammed, but it still looks really pretty. I got the kitchen in there. I have the 2 bathrooms on the bottom and top floor, and it just looks cozy. Not even cozy. It looks just like something Tiana would want inside. I did try and get as many pictures as I could with the interior, just trying to figure out like where everything is placed. And I think I did a pretty good job considering the limitations that we have with this game. But I really, really, really like it, and I hope you do too. It is on the gallery. My name is just Jamie Sanford. On the gallery, it's spelled a little different. So if you want to check out the description down below, I will have my name and all of my, all my media socials on in the description if you have any desire to go find that stuff. But I doubt anyone would, but they're there if you want it. But yeah, on the gallery, I do have the menu. I have the menu. I have it all filled out. I didn't do much to their apparel, so if you want to change that, go right ahead. I just figured, I'm like, it looks good enough. So come to think of it, I should have made the waitresses and like the guys wear something super formal, but I mean, the attire to go into the restaurant is formal, so it kind of works out. I have a piano in there, I have a stage, and the stage was giving me a little bit of grief. Like, every time I placed down like a wall with just like the square tool, everything wanted to disappear, so I had to do everything like individually, but I still think it turned out pretty well. I really like it. There's like gold in there, there's art hung up, like there's a lot going on, but it looks lived in, and I think that everything in there is something that Tiana would want, and I kind of like try to have an inner like Tiana moment. So I definitely wanted to do her proud, and I hope that she likes it because I really like it, and I think I did pretty okay with it. Right here is just on the back. I had to find like a bunch of pictures to try and figure out what this was, and I kind of made it. I think I did it justice. Like, I think it looks pretty accurate, but girl, I don't know. I hope it works, but I really do like it. I like the different entrances. I made sure that the front of the door was like the front door, but if your Sims decide to go in that like little area, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but it's in the build, so I had to do it, right? That little green thing from the top, like the black and white striped thing, I don't know what it's called, but in the actual like build itself, it kind of goes from like the top floor to like that second landing. It's kind of like a swoop, and we didn't have anything like that in The Sims, so I just had to like put that like little thing there instead. I still think like it turned out pretty okay. I think the only thing that wasn't very accurate was that. So I don't know. I think overall I give this build like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. That's what I'm gonna give myself. Because I really liked it. Oh, you can see my little Sim in the side. I downloaded a Tiana from the gallery because I was like, I can't just have any normal Sim come in to decorate the trims and the eave chops. Like, I need Tiana herself. So I have like a little Tiana on the side there, and she's kind of just chilling out, but she was helping me doing the decorating with all the lights on the trims and the eave troughs and all that stuff. So she's just kind of chilling there, so don't mind her. But I did use a couple of little items to make like where the windows are, what you can see right now, because there was something below those windows, and I saw some pictures of what people were doing, and they were putting like different types of like flower boxes there, and I don't know, I just didn't want that because the swatches were weird and it just didn't fit the vibe, you know? It wasn't a vibe, so I decided to just use those things, and I still think it turned out pretty good. Here we are doing the actual dining room itself, and I really love the colors that I used in here. It was like tanned and like brownish kind of stuff like that, and it just worked really nice. I love those pillars. I didn't realize that we had them because they were from, I think they were from Get Famous, if I'm not mistaken, and if they're not, it would make sense that they were from Get Famous, but if they're not, whatever, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But I'm pretty sure, if anybody can fact check me on that, they're from Get Famous. But I really like them because inside of Tiana's place, it's very like elegant and it's very nice. So I was kind of annoyed that those windows on the left side were white, obviously to fit the exterior of the build because that's what they had in the movie. But on the inside, it's a lot more tanned and like royal feel. So it kind of looks like a sore thumb at a place, but it is what it is, you know? It still looks good. Also, I love that the rooftop of the ceiling light literally came in and it's shining on that like plant. I think it looks really nice. Obviously through the day that the sun is gonna move out throughout the building, and it looks really, really pretty. I'm so excited that they had the tables that had like a light green and a white to it. Oh my god, I jumped out of my chair. I was like, oh my god, yes, because I was like, it's meant to be. It's meant to be. This build is gonna work because of those tables. And I was like thinking, I'm like, I don't think we have any good like green, like even a light mint greeny color of a table. I'm like, how is this gonna work? Like, this is gonna look super weird. No, they have it and it's good and I'm happy with it. It's a little bright, it's a little white because the white is on the top, but it looks fine. I think it turned out really nice. Here, I'm actually making my own custom chandelier. What? But yeah, I decided to make my own chandelier because the one in the screenshots of the movie looks so elegant. So I wanted to make my own. So I just put a bunch of like different chandeliers by itself, and I think it turned out really cool. So if you ever have like a build that you want to do and there's like a massive chandelier in there and you're like, oh, none of these work, because looking through all of them, not a lot of them do. So you can honestly just go from like the second floor, put on like a chandelier on that top floor, and then go to the bottom floor and then raise it, and it just works and it looks so cool. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And even on the bottom floor, you can see still two chandeliers kind of meshed together, so it still looks a little bit bigger than it would if there was only one. And I really like that, so I'm really happy with it, and the screenshots at the end looked great. So I'm super happy about that as well. Here, I'm just doing like the bathrooms and the way of the entrance to the kitchen. The kitchen was obviously a little bit of a weird shape just because it was very long. But I kind of figured, I'm like, when you're in a, you know, like a kitchen, there's like a long hallway and then you get to the main kitchen. So I do have like a kind of a hallway there, but I have the dine out restaurant cooking station like in between the wall. You'll see. But I think it works, and I think it turned out really well. These chairs here were a little different than I wanted, but in the actual screenshot itself, they were all white. And I think in The Sims, it's a little much. It's very white, but I don't know. I still think it turned out really well. I really like the color scheme in here. I think it's like really nice and warm, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty bougie, if I do say so myself. Like this is pretty bougie, but I think I did Tiana proud. This little back corner had like a little mural, but obviously we don't have murals, and I was trying to look through the gallery to find some like giant paintings of a mural, and I just couldn't find any. So I decided to put a painting of like a musical instrument there. So I hope that turns out pretty okay. If you don't like it and you're like, Jamie, that sucks, that's fine. It's fine. You can delete it. It's totally up to you. But I just have it in my build. I have a little seating area here as well. So, if, you know, there's only 2 bathrooms, but 1 per gen or whatever. Or whatever the case may be. We have a couch. Here, I'm just putting in a little bit more of the tables, and I didn't realize that there was some on the landing on the outside, so I did fit those in, and the walls looked a little bit bare. I had no idea what I wanted for the walls itself in the building, because there wasn't any like full pictures of kind of like what was on the walls, so I kind of just figured she would just want like a bunch of art, you know, like a bunch of like bougie art. So I did that, and I just put some lanterns over it so you could get like the whole vibes going. I like it. I like the way it turned out. But here we have the kitchen. The kitchen at first, if you see me putting down a bunch of stuff and it doesn't work, don't worry, I got rid of it. At the end, I really liked it. It's white. It's a little bit more modern. I kind of wanted to think that like back then it wasn't like as white, like a kitchen stayed white all the time, because you know, like in kitchens now they're all white, like in professional stuff. And I didn't know back then if they had it white, but I decided to put it white, so it's it is what it is. I put it in. So if you want to change that too, go right ahead. But I do like the way it turned out. It's a nice kitchen. I know that Tiana loves to cook, so I tried to make it good, and I hope she likes it, because I really like the kitchen, and I'm not a chef, but this kitchen makes me want to be a chef. Here I'm kind of just figuring out where all the lights are gonna be, and kind of, you know, like the green on the outside. I knew it was gonna take absolutely forever to do the Tiana's emblem, so I was like, okay, I'll just make every light in the house green. Sorry, it's not a house, a restaurant. I will put all of the lights in this restaurant green, just so I can make sure that the whole Tiana's place on the outside, you know, looks green, because it would have taken me way too long to do each individual one, because it's just like the pool lights just shrunken down and just placed. That took me almost all of the movie of Princess and the Frog just to do that one part. All the rest, like the rest of it wasn't that bad. But the sign, anytime you see someone use those lights with a sign, it took them way too long. Like an absurd amount of time, even if it's small. Even if you see like the Starbucks logo on the gallery and you know that people use those out of those pool lights, probably took them like a good hour. Like it takes forever to do, so it is a waste of time, but it looks great in the end, so it's fine. But here we have like the little area that comes in from that landing up those stairs, and I really like it. I kind of saw this in a screenshot of the actual restaurant itself, and I kind of just went with it. So I figured it would have been like a little bit of a long hallway. I was gonna make the hallway a little bit bigger, but I was like, I can make that space for like an upstairs restaurant, so to speak, and I did just that, and I really like the way it turned out. We have like the busing station for the waitresses. We have the station for the host that comes and greets you. Like, this is a great bougie place. So if your sim is like famous and you guys want to come here, like, be my guest, because it is probably the best to keep it in Willow Creek, because the world is based off of or heavily inspired by New Orleans, and in the movie A Princess and the Frog, it makes sense because the movie takes place in New Orleans. But we are coming to an end of this video, so if you did like the video, please comment, like, and maybe consider subscribing. Stay tuned for all the screenshots at the very end of the build, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.